All right, my friend, J.R. Duke's coming at you with another video. Appreciate you joining me today. As always, got a great video for you today because there is a hilarious video. I think it's produced by Comedy Central or one of the comedy channels. And Nathan Wade of the Fani Willis fame, Nathan Wade, the ex-RICO specialist, and I say that with quotes, of course, he gave an interview to Comedy Central. It's hilarious. We're going to talk about it. Now, I had to mark up the video and change it considerably because of copyright issues. I don't want to get a copyright problem and be demonetized on the video. So we're going to talk about a particular news article talking about all these people are very upset, including Fani Willis at Nathan Wade, because of all these interviews that he's given, because they're concerned, rightly so, that it can cause problems for them pertaining to this trial. So without further ado, let's go ahead and let's jump into this clip. I think you're going to find it hilarious.
Here today, I got my man, Nathan Wade, looking smooth.
Looking
what was
smooth.
your first thought when you had the affair with Fani come public between you and her?
I know his first thought. His first thought was, oh, I think my gravy train is over.
I don't label it an affair.
Wifey or?
D.A. Willis is a respectable mother.
She's a respectful mother, all right. I got a few other words I would add to that, but I'll leave that up to your imagination.
A brilliant legal mind.
Right.
We spent countless hours preparing this case, investigating this.
I see how.
And of course, countless hours getting together, using taxpayer money to travel to the Napa Valley, take many cruises all over the world, travel all over the United States. And of course, they're spending your and my tax dollars.
Happened countless hours, and I need a foot rub, and you know what I mean? She rub your foot, and you like, here, let me give you a massage, and all of a sudden, pump, we up on this desk. Bam.
No. Not even close. Not even close. Not even close. Great question.
Like,
yeah, I think what he should say is we got together, we decided we have the perfect case to make a name for ourselves and to bilk taxpayers out of a bunch of money, and of course, put a ton of money in our own pocket.
did it you or you liked it at her?
Well, that's a great question, right? So during the course of the investigation, we were.
Oh, come on. Did he like her or did she like him? I can answer that for you, folks. They liked the money, And, you know, I got to disclose straight up, if it is the case that he has made up to $1 million, as many published reports have indicated, I can assure you Nathan Wade earned his money, if you know what I'm talking about.
Would meet early mornings, weekends, spend full days.
How can you not hit that? Can you not? We spending that much time together. We doing everything. We might as well.
Well, in terms of workplace romances, how many places have you worked?
I love the way he always tries to spin this, like he said in other interviews that he gave and actually published things that I have read. He's always trying to spin it. Remember the apple pie situation? Workplace relationships are as common as apple pie. In other words, it's just something that happens to everybody. But remember, this is supposed to be a very moralistic individual, and of course I'm talking about Nathan Wade, but clearly he's out having an affair with his paramour, D.A. Fani Willis, milking and bilking the taxpayers out of a ton of money. This man is married. He's not supposed to be off with anyone else. It's just obscene how he tries to justify it.
I probably worked like 3 or 4 places, and everywhere I went, it was a mess.
Well, you know.
So she your boss?
So
you on that indecent proposal?
No.
Oh boy, that really galls him. You can tell by the way he responded to this. Is D.A. Fani Willis your boss? He does not like that.
No.
You on that Demi, what's that white girl name that married to the dude from Die Hard?
So that's a common misconception,
Disclosure.
Right?
You on that disclosure shit?
No.
I don't know if you'll ever seen that movie Disclosure, but it's a great movie. I think Disclosure had Michael Douglas in it, but I digress. At any rate, great questions. Now, remember, this guy is a performer. I don't believe this is his normal personality. If I read the information correctly, this is just simply something that he does as part of his skit routine. It's very hilarious.
That's a common misconception. She's not my boss. She's never been my boss.
You wasn't he too.
Yeah, he wishes it wasn't his boss. Of course, Fani Willis is his boss. He can spin it any way he wants to spin it.
Right.
Right. She ain't he to you.
No. I was a contract attorney.
I love that. It wasn't a he too. You get that, like the me too. And of course, him being a he.
She's more analogous to a client to me.
So you saying she was a client?
Yeah.
Oh gosh, she's a client. Are you kidding me?
So you served her well.
I did my job. And let's talk about some.
You served her well. You bet you did there, oh Nathan. You served her well. And of course, you really served the taxpayers and of course, just the American population in general. You should be very proud of yourself. I've had it on good authority and things that I have read online that Nathan Wade is doing this crazy, nutty tour all over the place, giving interviews to anybody and everybody that would allow him to give an interview. And the reason he's doing it, allegedly, of course, is he wants a spot on national television, being some kind of talk show individual, a talking head, a host, whatever you want to call it. This guy is under the false notion that somehow he has a bunch of charisma and everybody just thinks he's all that and he deserves a job as a result of that. And of course, Nathan Wade, I got news for you. You definitely don't have any charisma. This is the same guy going around toting guns and flashing guns to the public because he's mad that people are following him and examining his life closely. This guy, in my opinion, along with Nathan Wade, is nothing but your common
successes I did while I was
I think we talking
on the
about
job.
the success.
No, we didn't. We're talking about securing an indictment, talking about getting people to enter pleas.
Right, in a plea.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure he's just happy with himself. You know, he knows that he is a very unethical person. He took on this RICO case, this so-called RICO case, telling all of us that, oh, he's a pro. Do you remember Fani Willis at church? Oh, this man's such a great man. We're blessed essentially to have him. I prayed to God and God sent me Nathan Wade. What a crock. And they should all be very, very ashamed of himself. I can't even believe the stuff that's coming out of his mouth. He has done you and me a huge disservice going after a former president, engaging in this lawfare. This case, as you know, we all know, is completely bogus.
In a plea. We got it in a plea.
Well, we're talking about other jurisdictions even following suit.
So let me ask you, when old girl was like, hey, babe, you want to be in charge of this prosecution of the president of the United States who did this insurrection? Did you think like, this could get messy? Or you was like, nah, I'll be all right.
We did.
Nah, what he was thinking is, this is another continuation, Fanny, of what we do all the time, except this time we can put away some big dollars. Remember, this is the same Nathan Wade that his ex-wife, or actually it's still his wife, they're divorcing as of right now. His wife said he will not take care of her, provide her necessary needed medical care, take care of his children after promising he would take care of his children. I got a whole bunch of videos you can check out pertaining to just this very subject. Unbelievable.
Not have that type of relationship
Right.
at the outset, and we were interviewing other people for the position.
What position was it?
It was only the position of
Which
special
position?
prosecutor.
Did that position look like this?
No.
Or did that position look like this?
No.
So no,
After Wade resigned as special prosecutor, Trump's law dogs still tried to use their relationship to get the case
part's
thrown out.
hilarious.
They compelled his ass to testify and grilled this hard.
Did you go to a cabin with Miss Willis ever?
But the homie had answers.
Ever.
Ever. He's got answers, folks. Here he goes. We've all watched this. Oh, boy, he's really thinking hard. Am I going to commit perjury? Do I have the answers? What am I going to say? And he says, oh.
No,
He's never booking a cabin.
I booked lots of cabins.
My question.
Oh man, this guy has no shame. Let's switch over real quick. I want to show you briefly this article that I found online. All right, so here we go. We got Nathan Wade's media tour annoys Fani Willis and allies in Georgia as an unnecessary distraction. I bet they are upset about this. This appeared on Fox News. This is one of the many stories that they have recently ran pertaining to Nathan Wade and Fani Willis. Fulton County, Georgia DA Fani Willis, close allies in the state, are frustrated by former Trump prosecutor Nathan Wade's recent media appearances, according to a report. I think it's an unnecessary distraction and disrespectful to both the process and the DA for Mr. Wade to be giving interviews at this time. Former Atlanta Mayor Shirley Franken said in the Atlanta Journal-Constitution reported this. Wade spoke to several outlets after he stepped down from the prosecution team in their election interference case against Donald Trump during a recent interview on CNN. And of course, we talked about it right here on this channel. Wade's team pulled him aside after he was asked about the timeline of his romantic relationship, disputing the pre-taped interview. Remember, during that interview, he was asked, hey, exactly when did your affair start with DA Fani Willis? And he had to be pulled aside before he gave an answer, because remember, we all know it, he, probably along with Fani Willis, have clearly committed perjury on the stand. If you recall, the ex-best friend of DA Fani Willis, I forgot her name off the top of my head, but she clearly testified that when Fani Willis and her were living together, she saw Nathan Wade and her acting as if they were in a romantic relationship. So we know what's going on. It's just a matter of how long they're going to be able to get away with this. Former District Attorney J. Tom Morgan told the AJC that the interviews were legally questionable. Yeah, no doubt. Just because he isn't part of the case anymore doesn't mean the rules of professional misconduct don't apply, Morgan said. Wade has discussed his relationship with Willis, which has been the focus of the election interference case, in several interviews. It's a sideshow, but the sideshow is the show, Morgan added. Wade first spoke to ABC News' Lindsay Davis in May and said during the interview that the workplace romances were as American as apple pie. We just talked about that too. It happens to everyone, but it happened to the two of us. It's just true love, folks. It's just true love. I think I have a tear coming up. I don't know. I mean, I can really feel the love they had for each other. If they had love for each other, that wasn't love. That's what you call lust. After looking after all that money. I mean, come on, $1 million? That's a lot of money. And of course, we know for a fact that DA Fani Willis was enjoying that money right along with Nathan Wade. Of course. All right, let's hit the highlights of this here. Rick Dent, a Democratic strategist, told the AGC that Wade was likely trying to improve his reputation after the attention he and Willis received. But the most important thing is the case, Dent said. This is distracting from the case. He needs to go away and do not do any more interviews ever. And folks, I have to second that. It definitely does not help any prosecutor's case, especially something this high profile, to keep engaging in this type of nonsense. After his team disrupted his interview with CNN's Caitlin Collins, Wade argued the public understood when his relationship with Willis began. Basically, he did not want to talk about it any further. I believe that the public has, through the testimony and other interviews, the public has a clear snapshot that this is clearly just a distraction. It is not a relevant issue in this case, and I don't think we should be focusing anymore on the other than the facts in the indictment in this case, Wade said to CNN. Wade refused to offer concrete details of when his relationship with Willis began. Of course, he doesn't want to talk about it anymore because he realizes, at least he should realize, that he and Fani Willis are at real risk of some type of perjury issue or some kind of perjury charges in the future. So if I was him, I would be very, very concerned. Wade refused to offer concrete details of when his romance with Willis began. He did admit to his poor timing. Oh, what a nice admission. His poor timing, while insisting his actions played no role in the case being delayed. Yeah, and if you believe that, you're an idiot, right? Do I believe that my actions caused this delay? No, Wade said. I do believe, though, that the timing of a personal relationship that I had was probably bad. Yeah, no doubt there, Mr. Wade. It was bad timing. But you don't pick and choose when these things happen. They happen organically, and you deal with the situation as it comes. Okay, I will not make any further jokes pertaining to this. My friends, we know what this case is all about. We know that Fani Willis, Nathan Wade are both crooks. Let's just call it what it is. They're part of this lawfare nonsense. They brought this case to make a boatload of money for themselves, to make a name for themselves. As a prosecutor, and especially as a DA, you have an ethical obligation to not bring charges unless they're absolutely, completely appropriate. And you're not supposed to ever engage in any type of political prosecution. And of course, I consider this a persecution. They should be ashamed of themselves for what they did as proof of how these people are bad people and evil people. Just take Fani Willis, for example. Instead of completely stepping aside and allow another DA to take over this so-called RICO case, she's like, no, I'm not going to do that. And of course, as a result, now the Georgia Court of Appeals has stepped in, agreed to hear the case, and essentially this case is on a indefinite delay because they have to look at the issue as to whether or not it was okay just to remove Nathan Wade and not DA Fani Willis along with him. And of course, the Georgia Court of Appeals got this particular subject matter correct. My friends, if you're still with me, you might as well hit the thumbs up button. Please be sure to like, subscribe, and share this with any of your indoctrinated family member or friends. We must all keep our foot on the gas. The election will be here before you know it. We must talk to our friends, our neighbors, make sure they understand the truth of what's going on right now in our society. This is probably one of the most consequential elections that's ever going to be had in our lifetime. The world is on fire. Our country is in peril. We have a president who clearly is suffering from some type of mental disease. We must keep sounding the alarm and do our part and show up and vote this coming November. I always appreciate you joining me. It is a pleasure to know you took time to listen to what I have to say so that we can bounce these subjects off each other. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Do you agree, disagree? Am I missing anything? What kind of thoughts do you have concerning this very important matter in Fulton County, Georgia? I always say, keep that mind free, never give up. And until next time, my friends, I am J.R. Dukes.